Hey everyone, I'm Michael.
Yeah, hi Michael.
You got it. So, in 2004, the medical drama House MD, or House, premiered. In the show, Hugh Laurie plays Gregory House, an eccentric but brilliant doctor who, along with his team, tries to solve medical problems that no one else seems to be able to. So by the time a patient comes to him, they've already done all the obvious tests. And then they come to his team, much to their pain and suffering that they endure from Gregory House. But his team comes together to try and solve these hard medical problems. And the way they do this is the differential diagnosis. So the way they do it, they gather around a whiteboard, and then they start writing things down. So the way they do that looks something like this. So they'll write out a couple of different columns, and okay, if you watch the show, they don't do this exactly the same way every time. But they start writing down the symptoms. So they'll write down every single symptom that could be related or not related, but they try and list out everything. And then they'll write down the causes. Anyone gone through this experiment in the last couple of years here? Right? Then here's the key. Then they start trying to determine what tests they could run in order to figure out the cause of the disease. Their goal with the tests is to try and either rule symptoms or causes as being more likely related to what's actually going on, or hopefully rule out symptoms or rule out causes. And the big thing here is their other doctors already went through and said, oh, you're seeing this symptom, let's test for this. They've done the obvious thing. Now they're trying to be strategic. So after they pick a test, well, in this case, a PCR test would probably rule out an antigen test, and that would probably tell us pretty definitively if it's COVID, right? That's what we've all learned as we've all become epidemiologists and everything in the last few years, right? So we do the PCR test, and then we go back to the beginning. Now let's review our symptoms, review our causes. Can we rule anything in? Can we rule anything out? So in this case, test came back negative. It's not COVID. We don't need to do that other test. And oh, we've got new symptom here, vomiting. All right, so now maybe it's norovirus. Cool, sounds like a lot of fun. So now we're gonna go through it again. And we're gonna see which test are we gonna do next is gonna give us the most information. So I think we can do the same thing, not only in software, but I think in any problem. 90-something% of the problems that we're gonna run into on a daily basis, you're gonna intuit. You're gonna go, oh, I saw this, well, it's probably this. And then, oh, wasn't that? Well, then it's probably this. And most of the time, we know what the source of the problem is gonna be. But then you run into that problem where you spend a day on it, you spend 2 days on it, a week on it, whatever it is, and you just can't figure out why. And that's where I'd recommend try the differential diagnosis. Go ahead, start writing down all your symptoms, because what is or isn't relevant, you're not really sure, right? You've already tried all the things that you felt like you could just intuit into it. And then what are the possible causes? What things could all of these things roll up into? And then your key, which test is gonna start to actually give me the most information? Not the first one you think of, but the one you think is gonna be most constructive to it. So the next time you run into this hard problem, go ahead, grab some of your colleagues, gather around a whiteboard. Maybe it's a virtual whiteboard, maybe it's a real one. I think real one's even better. Or maybe your favorite rubber duck. That can work too if that's what you need. But one thing I will ask is if you do try this, try not to be as much of an asshole as Greg House.